My name's Peter. I'm the project archivist currently working on the most extraordinary collection, Janis Ian's Archives. So, we've touched upon this just recently, right? So now Janis Ian she is passionate about literature. She is a singer, she is a songwriter. Writing is really the crux of this whole collection, the real anchor point. Janis Ian is a writer. Not only does she write her own songs, she's actually a published science fiction author. She's written her own autobiography, which, won a Grammy and that. So she's a real writer. So it stands to reason that this collection's going to have books, don't you think? So we have around about over 300 odd books in Janis Ian's own personal library. I just pulled out a few of them just so you can get a kind of snippet as to what we have available down here for you to visit and read in the archives. So what we have here is James Ramsey Ullman. This is a book that Janis read when she was very early in her career, in her teenage years, and it was highly influential on her and actually learning to write. Right, here. Now, both me and Janis, we really do share an appreciation and a love for Dylan Thomas. For those who don't know, Dylan Thomas is a Welsh poet, and I just brought this out just like that. We got a poem here, In My Craft or Sullen Art. Now, Janis, about 1965, 66, she actually used to have this sort of record where she could listen to Dylan Thomas's voice because he actually was just reading this aloud on the record. So if you think about audiobooks, she was actually replying to a question once, so what's the first audiobook that you ever listened to? And she was not sure if it counts, but this record I used to listen to when I was a young girl, and that Dylan Thomas used to love listening to this poem, and hence I've got it out for you today. We have, hopefully you can see this, what we have here, Janis Ian here, 1962. This is A Wrinkle in Time, one of the first, I'd call it hardback. I think Americans call it hardcovers. It's a little difference in the language there, but it's A Wrinkle in Time, and this is a really important book to Janis very early on in her life, and it's sort of starting to step into science fiction. And what does Janis say about science fiction? It's the jazz of prose. Brilliant. Right, another book, Our Jimi. So in this particular book, we have an interview with Janis Ian just about her reflections, her stories about her friend Jimi Hendrix. And one of the reasons I brought this out is because, Janis is really good friends with Jimi Hendrix when she's younger. And the thoughts, the experiences, this is history about a very significant American musician, Jimi Hendrix, from the perspective of Janis Ian, deep, meaningful friends. And we got it here in this book, a whole interview. So it's actually a completely different side to the artist, which you might not necessarily have actually thought about before. Who is Jimi Hendrix? Find out. So we got two books here. Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin, and we've got Sand Kings equally by George R.R. Martin. Now, of course, he was actually, again, he's really good friends with Janis. Now, when Janis got married to Pat in Toronto and that, he was there. He was actually there at their wedding. So there's a message in here. He wrote to Janis, I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I've enjoyed your albums. So, he's actually a fan of Janis Ian's music. And remember what I was saying earlier, right? The archive is, it's all about discovery. And even I am on a journey of discovery myself. Going through Janis's library, I came across this poet, Diane Wonsky, and extraordinary poem. It's extraordinary. And each book that we have in his library collection, Diane has actually written out a message for Janis, and actually is quoting her own poems. She's actually finding poems within her own works to write and communicate with Janis, because it's a meaningful message to her. So yeah, fantastic. So it's wonderful to be able to actually discover new things myself.